Well, always wanted a Mopar. I guess I discovered what Mopar was when I was 12. My uncle had a Super Bee. I couldn't tell you what year. I remember playing with my cousin. My cousin knew a lot about cars when I was little. I didn't know nothing. And he's like, "Oh yeah, my dad's Super Bee. He's like, you should come look at it." And it was, I mean, I don't want to say it was a wreck, but I mean, it was like 3 different colors. But when he finally finished it after weeks and weeks of wrenching on it, he started that motor. I was like, man, I want something like that when I get older, you know, when I can afford something. I want something that sounds like that. And that was my first love, and I found out what it was and what, you know, and that sucked. Someone asked that question again. That was horrible. What was the question again?
Tell me about what made you want this car.
Oh, this car. Well, I mean, I guess it boils down to price. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
I mean, when you went out looking for a car, did you choose this one specifically, or were you looking for a Mopar? Like, would you have settled for a Challenger or a Chrysler 300 like mine? Or
wife said it's got to be 4 doors. I think it was more of a challenge on her half that you're not going to find something that you want that's going to have 4 doors.
The old wife rule.
Yeah, she's like, well, if you want a Mopar or if you want anything muscle car, she's like, it needs to have 4 doors. You know, I got a lot of kids, and I get it, but she's like, you have to have 4 doors or it's just not going to work. And you know, that's her way of saying, oh, you're not going to find anything, don't even bother. And it took me, I don't know, I shopped around for about 2 weeks. I test drove at least 4 other ones before I chose this one. And I got this from a dealership that I trusted and knew, and that was another deciding factor. You know, I could have went to Sioux Falls or Omaha and I could have got an SRT8, but you know,
they just took the chance of a personal owner possibly.
Yeah, the lady
it up and
right. No, I was told that from the person I bought it from, the dealership that I bought it from, that a lady owned it before me, and that's no dog on ladies that own cars. But he said she was a local lady, she drove it, you know, she didn't beat it up too bad, and he had sold it to her before, so this is a 2-time owner of the same dealership, so yeah, that's why I chose this one. And the color was nice, and just the way it looked. I like the red accent it had on the RT badge, and just went from there.
So, how do you feel about daily driving this car? Are there any pros and cons, ups and downs, anything you like or hate about it?
Pros, the power. Love the power. It's a throw you back in your seat type of power that I enjoy. But if you're driving like that all the time, you know, one of the big cons is going to be fuel efficiency.
Not everybody burns E85 where it's only $1 or whatever.
$1, what is it, like regular $1.69 a gallon? I don't pay too much for it, but I don't know too many cons other than just fuel efficiency. I mean, you know, I've added a few things to try to help with the fuel efficiency. It's at maybe 3 or 4 miles per gallon, but I'd say more of the cons is, you know, I mean more of the pros is just the power, and I just, you know, love getting from A to B, and I know if I have to get somewhere in just a few minutes, I can get there in just a few minutes without having any problems.
Right. I mean, one could say one of the cons is, you know, RTs, with the exception of the RT all-wheel drive, which was rare.
Right.
Traction in winter, you know, you couldn't really daily drive something like this all year long.
Oh, I don't. I usually cover this around, it really depends on, I keep an eye on the weather, find out when the first snowfall is going to be, or if it starts getting really cold out, I just cover it up in my front lawn. Or I say my front driveway, I just cover it up for wintertime. I drove this thing one time in the winter because my truck had broken down, and my God, I was because I knew that ass was going to, you know, do the whole wobbly, so I just decided after that, went out and bought a Dodge SUV, and I drive that during the wintertime, and I just shelved those.
So you stuck to Mopar with the SUV?
Yeah, I tried. It's the 4.7 Eco E85, so it only puts down like, what, 240, so it doesn't really do all much. And it's all-wheel drive all the time, so that's why I enjoy about it, too.
My Jeep did put down quite a bit more, but it was pretty heavily modified for a 4.7. It had shorty headers and a bunch of other cool shit that I did to it.
Nice.
So what draws you to the brand Mopar? You know, anything specific about these cars? You like the old ones, the new ones?
The old ones is what drew me in. My uncle had an older Super Bee. That was my first lesson on muscle cars. My cousin knew a whole bunch about muscle cars, and he was just educating me. Oh, my dad's car is the best. It's quick. You know, he's putting this huge motor in it and everything. And you know, all I saw when I was a kid was was on the roads. He was teaching me those cars on the roads really. And when I saw it, it was like 3 different colors. Like the hood was one color, and I think the doors were different colors. He was just piecing it together, and as it was an old car. And now what caught my attention the most is when he turned it over.
Just the sound of the motor.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
Mopars
something.
do have a pretty unique sound. Like any Chrysler product with a V8 has a very unique engine sound. They're very deep toned because for instance, like a 5.7 back in the day would have been, they didn't even make a 5.7. You had a 5.9 liter as opposed to GM's 5.7 or Ford's 5.0.
No, just that distinct sound. And when he drove it, he said, "You better put your seatbelt on." Back then, I was 10, 11 in the mid 90s. My parents didn't really make me wear a seatbelt all that much. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. We all know the stories about hiding in the back window.
Right. But no, my uncle's like, "Put on a seatbelt." And I was like, "Why?" So I put on the seatbelt, and he had those double crossing racing seatbelts. And he's like,
6-point harness.
Yeah, he had a 6-point harness on there, and he's just like, "Hang on." I was like, "Whatever." He started it, and we got out into the street, and he had a complete straightaway, and he just slammed it. I swear to God, my head flew back into that headrest, and I was scared. Pardon my words, I was just scared to death. But, yeah, that feeling in your stomach, those butterflies you get when you're going really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to redo that every day, and I tried this car. I shouldn't, but I ride her wet and take her home dry and all that stuff. But yeah, just that throw you back in your seat feeling is, you get addicted to it.
So do you have any goals in mind with the car? Is there anything in particular you want to do beyond what you've already done? We could actually talk about what you've done to the car already and where you want to go from there.
First modification I did, I tried to, budget-wise, tinted all the windows. I got a limo in the back. I think it's 5% in the front. That was my first modification that I did. It's simple, reversible, in case, I decide to change my mind. The second is I shrunk down from 20-inch wheels down to 18s. I go over, there's a lot of train tracks near my house. So I traded some guy in my 20s and like $200 for his 18s. But the kicker is I had really bad tires on it, so he got really, really bad tires. And I got near new tires, so I made like a bandit on that deal, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of 20-inch wheels. That's more of a, oh God, what's this? Oh wow, sorry, the road's all torn up. It's just started. But no, it's like a guy I know that owns a business. He was standing there when I made the transaction with the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, that's more Playboy-ish." And I wasn't going for Playboy. I was going for just that old school look. That's what I'm looking for. And they're not the best. They're off an '06 Charger RT, so I didn't go too far back. Plastic dipped those. I'll probably show that in a different video. I plastic dipped those because they're just a regular gray. My first bolt-on modification was a K&N, I think it was a Series 57 cold air intake. 57 or 58 series.
Did you use their air filter as well then?
Okay, that came with it?
The K&N air filter?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, complete system, front to back filter, big old filter, 100 horsepower, and try to take on some of those SS Camaros and see how I do, and go up against those 5.0 Mustangs, just kind of see how much I hang in there. That's my goals. I know those 5.0 guys, once they start, they really go overboard too. So,
well, that, and they're starting behind the 8 ball already because everybody's got twice the displacement that they do.
Right.
Even a 5.7 liter is 345 cubic inches. above what they make. You know, I believe their 5.0 is an actual 302. So, you know, and then Camaro's the base model V8 Camaro, the 6.2 liter Super Sports are, you know, like 376 cubic inches. So
There's a nice LS1. Ooh. Didn't see that over there before. Oh, I forgot to mention too. No Cadillac converters. That's why you hear that really loud drone.
yeah, I don't know what happened to him. I think some dude cut him off.
This guy cut him off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bash the place I ordered my headers from, but you know, I'm not too mechanically inclined on my car. I don't know a whole bunch. You know, when ordering parts, I just see the part. He tells me the part. He tells me if it'll fit. We order the part, and then he's like, "Where's your mid pipes?" And I'm like, "What mid pipes?" And they told me I didn't need any mid pipes. And then, oh yeah, so he Frankenstein the mid pipes. They work. I'm not complaining right now. But yeah, no Cadillac converters right now, which is fine. I think it sounds great without it.
But you know what they call it? Ugly but trusty.
I don't care how ugly it looks as long as it's sealed up, no leaks.
It's kind of like that girl.
Twice a year, run water through it like you're supposed to, and then use the oil to refoil and stuff. All that basic knowledge. No, I did that. Did the cold air. That added like an extra 3 miles per gallon, which is nice. A little easier on the wallet. After that was the JBA catback exhaust system. I bought that, put that in. That changed the whole game right there. That made it sound like something of my own. Once I got that done, you know, once you buy one mod, you just keep going. This year I bought the Diablo Sport Trinity tuner, and I got some headers, which you know all about because we spent almost 2 weeks putting them in, you know, a couple hours a day putting them together.
Yeah, my back remembers.
That was fun. But no, that's added a lot of torque. I noticed when I first slammed on it, after I got all the new parts installed, the headers installed, and the tuner, I put a 93 octane tune in it, but I do run 91. 93 doesn't really agree with my car very much. I just see more spark pop, more. Yeah, I got you. You don't have to point your finger at me. I don't know. I feel the car's more lively running 91, so I just run 91. For the future, I'm hoping next year everything aligns perfectly. I'm actually going to go with a Torque Storm supercharger, and probably to stay on the easy side of my wife and my budget, probably run just a simple intercooler to start off with, and then after that, probably the year after, I'll probably run an intercooler and water mass injection on it to keep it real nice and cool. My goal is just get to 500 horsepower. That's my goal, or maybe a little bit over, but you know, nothing too extravagant. I don't want to go over the top, but you know, I do want to take it to like little car shows here in my local area. I'm not going to compete in competitions or anything. And then I think once I got all the internals under the hood stuff done, I'm going to go to the outside. It needs a new paint job, and there's a spot of rust on my rear, my passenger wheel well's got a little bit of rust on it from the previous owner. I've just been touching it up every once in a while when it needs it.
But yeah. Gotta love the Iowa salt.
Yeah, that's my mistake. I'm pretty sure the lady that had it before me, I'm sure she drove it all year round. It's just the only car she had, so I get it. It's a simple fix. I already got the panel replacement. That was hard enough to find. It took me like 3 months to find a panel replacement. Because the whole car, the whole piece is just from the rear almost all the way to the front. It's like one big, gigantic rear quarter panel. And to buy that, you'd have to go to a junkyard and just tear it off yourself. But found a place that just makes the cutout for it. It's like $70-$80. So it was a heck of a deal.
Just a patch panel.
Yeah, it's just little patch panels, all it was. $70-$80. I'm kind of afraid to go back to get the car looked at to see how much they're going to charge me to fix it. He quoted me almost $2,000 as the rust repair, and they wouldn't even guarantee it for more than 5 minutes. So, no, it's fun. I mean, I could have sprung the extra $5 or $6 if I wanted an SRT8, and I wouldn't have to do half the modifications. Or if I did do the half the modifications I did now, I'd be even at higher horsepower. But I don't know. I mean,
so with all that, has this whole, the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic and everything, has that changed the way you want to you want to modify the car? Are you more apprehensive about buying parts and having them shipped to you, or are you more likely to have parts shipped to you? Because it's not just like it used to be before this all happened, where you could just take your car to a shop and then they quote you, or you.
I mean, we don't have many performance shops around here. If I need a tune done or something, either they're not open or they're backlogged because they're only open so many days of the week. So I'm trying to stay away from anything but bolt-on. So I can just do it myself. I won't require a tune or anything. I can just, put it on and go.
It also helps to know somebody who has a laptop and a tuner.
Right. Well, great thing about this Trinity thing is, a lot of people don't know, but a lot of people do know that you can just custom tune. You can put. I'm already way past that. I'm way past that. I plan to keep this car until I die.
Well, and plus, you've had your car for a while. Mine's still fresh. So.
Yeah, I've had this car since 2016. Yeah, I mean, if I don't have too much more to go to pay it off. I can pay it off next year at tax time if I really wanted to.
Right.
What was that? Was that him?
Yeah, that's bad brakes.
A little soggy on the brakes there. But no, I mean, I'm gonna keep this car. I don't know what I'm gonna end up doing with it in the future. I know my boys envision I guess I'm not my oldest one, but my son just turned 9. He envisions driving this car like to his prom and stuff like that. He's probably my biggest supporter in the car. He loves this car. I would dare say maybe more than I do in some aspects. And I love this car. I try to baby as much as I can. No more than 4,000 miles every summer, if I can help it. I don't highway drive it. I only city drive it. And that's kind of really bad on the motor doing city driving. But I only drive it. I think I got it oil change back in March at 124,174. It's now June, and I'm at 122,162. So maybe about 1,000 miles. Pretty well. I shouldn't say that. But 3,000. Yeah, a little over. Close to 3.